All right, this is assignment 3.7, and I had some questions about it, so I'm just going to record a video of how I would solve the problems. I don't know if these will be the exact problems that show up with you when you do the assignment, but feel free to just follow along. And after you see me do number one, like go and try your number one. And then eventually, as you feel more comfortable, try to go ahead of me and then see if when you get to my answer, if it's the same answer. All right, so number one says x is less than -4. So some important guidelines are that when you have this sign, when we graph the line is going to be a dashed line. Okay. When you have this sign, the line is also going to be a dashed line because it does not include that, right? It's either greater than -4, sorry, less than -4, or it's greater than -4. However, if you have something like less than or equal to, that will be a solid line because it includes it. You know it includes it because of the equal sign. So greater than or equal to will also be a solid line when you graph it. And then when you're talking about greater than, we're going to shade above it, right? Greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above it. And then less than or equal to, we're going to shade below it. Less than or equal to, we're going to shade it below it. That's a little bit unclear, isn't it? This is supposed to be a dashed line with shading above it. Here's a dashed line where we shade below it, above it. Okay, so those are the different kinds of the types of lines you'll see. You'll either see it's dashed or solid, and then we have to decide where to shade it. Okay, but other than that, it looks just like as if that were an equal sign. So we can kind of at first behave like it is x equals -4 and think about how to graph that. Feel free to use Desmos.com graphing calculator to get your head around where x equals -4 would be. Okay, so x equals -4, there's no y's, but we know that no matter what y we put in, x is going to be 4. So it's basically like saying 4 with any y. Sorry, -4. -4, 0 would be on that line. -4, 1 would be on that line. -4, -4 would be on that line, right? Because if we were to make a table of here are my x values, here's the equation, and here is my xy, we'll say. So if x is -1, x is -4. Well, x can't be -1, so we'll say our y values, right? So if y is -1, x is 4. That doesn't change anything about x being -4, so we'll just say x is -4, y is -1. So if you were to graph it, you would just see a line at -4. And if you think about, okay, if I input a different value, I can't input any different x, right? Because the x has to be right here at -4. But no matter what y I input, if I input a 0 for y, x is still going to be -4. If I input a 6 for y, x is still going to be -4. So, a moment. So what we have are a bunch of dots, connected dots, along x equals -4. So our line will be x equals -4. However, this is now an inequality, right? And our inequality says x is less than -4. So I should not have made it a solid line. What should I make it? If it's less than, I should make it a dotted line. So let's go back and pretend that black one's not there. Pretend like I'm just making a pink line, okay? So here's my line at x is less than -4, okay? It goes on forever, but it is not solid. It's dashed. And less than means I'm going to shade below it, right? But this is kind of hard to see what would be below the straight up and down vertical line, right? So now we look at the x values. So here x is getting bigger, right? Or it's a positive x. Here we're getting negative x's, or they're getting smaller. So x is less than -4. that means we're going to shade towards the negative number, right? Because negative numbers are smaller than positive numbers, or negative, and we're going towards negative infinity, right? And here we're going towards infinity. Which way is the lesser? Lesser would be towards negative infinity. So we have colored it pink, and then we can just shade to the left of it because there is no y, so there's not going to be any below, right? Below is kind of for if there's a y, below y, but there's no y, there's just x. So below x would actually be in to the left because those are the negative x values. Number 2, we have x minus y is greater than or equal to 9. So now it will be a solid line, right? So we know this is going to be a solid line. And if it's greater than, where do I shade? Shade above the line. So I know that before I even look at what I'm doing. Here what I'm doing is x minus y is greater than or equal to 9. So let's take that and solve it for y, okay? This one we couldn't solve for y because there was only an x. So we have x minus y greater than or equal to 9. I'm going to go ahead and move that x because I want y alone, just like for all my other graphing of linear equations. So we have negative y greater than or equal to negative x plus 9. You can also say 9 minus x, that's fine. Now, this is not finished because I don't want a negative y, I want a positive y. So I'm going to divide or multiply by negative 1. If I do it over here, I have to do it over here. And remember, if I multiply or divide by a negative number, I have to flip that. So now instead of greater than or equal to, we're going to say it's less than or equal to. Y is less than or equal to x minus 9. You see how the negative y became a positive y because I divided by negative 1. Negative x became a positive x, and positive 9 became a negative 9. However, now this is no longer true, right? Because we're not working with this. Now we're working with less than or equal to. So it will still be a solid line. And we're still going to shade, but now it's less than. So we're going to shade below the line. Good. All right, what is the line x minus 9? Y equals mx plus b, where m is my slope, b is my y-intercept. So here, b is negative 9. My y-intercept means where it crosses y. It crosses y at negative 9. That's right here. So that is b is negative 9. My y-intercept is negative 9, okay? Now my m, my slope, is whatever number is in front of x. If there's no number in front of x, we say it's 1, right? We have 1x. It's just an unwritten 1. I want slope written in a fraction format. Ooh, that's wrong. Because slope is how far to go up or down on y over how far to go left or right on x. So 1, I'm actually going to write as 1 over 1. Because any number divided by 1, or sorry, any number divided by 1 is itself, and any number divided by itself is 1. Good. So I can take, if you ever have a slope of 5, you can say it's 5 over 1. Good. 1 becomes 1 over 1, so that means 1 up on y, 1 over on x. Okay, so I start from my b, my y-intercept, and I go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Good. So that's my line. I know that it is a solid line, so I'm going to draw a solid line that crosses negative 9 and also crosses, if I'm careful, it should also cross positive 9 on the x. Okay. It's a solid line and we're shading below it, we said. We're shading below it because it is less than or equal to x minus 9. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 asks us to graph the inequality 7x plus y is greater than 1. So we know this will be a dashed line, right? And that we will shade above it. Unless we have to flip anything, right? So 7x plus y greater than 1. I'm going to move the x over. So subtract 7x, subtract 7x. What I'm left with is y is greater than negative 7x plus 1. Okay, now y is alone, so I'm done. What is my slope? Is negative 7 or negative 7 over 1. Okay, so that means I go down 7 and then I go right 1. Okay, notice here that I can go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, or I could go down 1 over, sorry, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, because those are both positive. Positive x, positive y. Positive y is up, positive x is to the right. I can also go down negative y and left negative x. Negative y, negative x, negative y, negative x, negative y, negative x, right? Because negative 1 divided by negative 1 will also be a positive 1. Here we have 1 negative, 1 positive. So I need to go down 7, right 1, or I can go up 7, left 1, because it could be 7 over negative 1. Good. So that's my slope. And then my y-intercept, we said was 1. So I'm going to start at y equals 1. I found my b. Now I'm going to go down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1. Or I can go up 7 to the left 1. 1, 2. Okay, there's my line. I decided it was a solid line. I did not have to change my sign, so it's still going to be greater than, so we're still going to shade above. Which way is above, if we think about it, okay? Here is positive y, here is negative y. So which one is above? It's going to be over here. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 asks us y is less than or equal to 4x. So let's look at that. Less than or equal to means it's going to be a solid line, and less than means we're going to shade below it. Okay? Solid line, shade below the line. Okay? And it's already all set up, so we don't need to do any moving. We just know that y is less than or equal to 4x. Y equals mx plus b. M is 4 or 4 over 1. So that means up 4, right 1. Or down 4, left 1. Okay? Because it could be negative 4, negative 1. 4 over 1 is 4. Negative 4 over negative 1 is also 4. Good? So that's how we know where to move once we know our b, our y-intercept. What is our b? There's nothing here, so we just say our b is 0. Here, our b was 1, so we crossed y at 1. Here, our y is 0, so we're crossing y at 0. And if you wanted to give it a coordinate point, it would just be 0, 0, 0 of x, 0 of y. Here it would be 0x, 1y, right? Okay, so our b is 0 because they didn't even add it on there, right? Now, from that 0, I need to go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1, down 4 to the left 1, down 4 to the left 1. We said it's a solid line because it could be equal to. And we said it's less than or equal to 4x. So less than, look at right? Negative y, positive y, and less than, right? That's the less than side. You can also pick a point, okay? So we know this is the point 0, 0. If I put in 0, okay? I'm going to take that point 0, 0, and I'm going to put it in right here. So y is less than or equal to 4x. I'm going to put in 0 for my y, 0 for my x. 0 is less than or equal to 4 times 0. So that becomes 0 is less than or equal to 0. That's true. Okay, that's why the line is solid, because it's a true statement. Now, if you don't know which side to shade, just pick one point, an easy point on either side, or on the side you think you should shade, maybe just to try to make an educated guess, okay? What is that point? That point is 1 on x, 1 on y, right? We put in 0, 0, we got that it was true, right? Is 1, 1 going to be true? So instead of 0 is less than or equal to 4 times 0, we're going to say our y was 1. 1 is less than or equal to 4. What's our x? Our x is also 1. Okay. 1 is less than or equal to 4 times 1 is 4. Is that true? That is true. So shade that way. Okay. Similarly, test over here. So this is going to be, I don't want to use that one. It's a little confusing. You can though. Use negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. Okay. So y is less than or equal to 4x. Our y was negative 4, and our x is negative 4. Okay. So 4 times negative 4 is a negative 16, right? Is negative 4 less than or equal to negative 16? This is not true. So do not shade that side. Okay. The same would be true here. I was just looking for one where they both matched. They were both negative 4, so I didn't have to, there's fewer things to mess up. Okay, so if you don't know which side to shade, pick an easy point on either side. And if it's true, shade that side. If it's not true, shade the other side. Or maybe do 2 points just to make sure. All right, here we have 2x plus 8y is greater than or equal to 16. So it's greater than or equal to, so that's going to be a solid line. Greater than means I shade above the line. Sound good? I have 2x plus 8y is greater than or equal to 16. I'm going to move that 2x. I'm going to subtract it. So I have 8y greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 16. Okay. Divide everything by 8. 8y divided by 8 just leaves me with y. Negative 2 divided by 8 gives me a fraction. It's actually negative 1/4. So negative 2/8, I can divide both the 2 and the 8 by 2. If I divide a negative 2 by 2, I get negative 1. And if I divide 8 by 2, I get 4. So it's negative 1/4. It's just a little bit simpler. And then plus 16 over 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2, okay? You might be asking, why didn't I change this if this was a negative and I divided it by the 8, right? The only time you flip that sign is if the bottom number, or if you're multiplying, if the outside number, the number you're introducing is negative, okay? As long as this is positive, you don't change the sign. If the one you're using across the whole equation or inequality is the negative, then you switch the sign, okay? So that's the inequality. We've written it in a y is not equal to, y is greater than or equal to format. Now we find m and we find b, right? Y equals mx plus b. B is 2. Right? B is 2. now m. M is -1/4. So that means down 1, right 4, or up 1, left 4. Because you can also write it as 1 over -4. -1/4 looks like that. 1 -4 also looks like that. Okay, so from our B, from our 2, we're going to go down 1 to the right 4, or we can go up 1 to the left 4. We said it's a solid line because it's greater than or equal to. Which direction is greater? Here's positive y, here's negative y. Which direction is greater? It's up here. And again, if you're not sure, just pick a point. Pick 0, 0, right? Let's pick 0, 0. So our equation, use this equation. Y, it doesn't matter actually, you can use the other one. Y is less than or equal to -1/4 x plus 2. We're using 0, 0. 0 is less than or equal to -1/4 times 0 plus 2. So that becomes 0 is greater than or equal to, that is 0, right? 2. Is that true? That is not true. So at the point 0, 0, it should not be colored in because that is not true. Any point you pick up here will be true if you put it into this, okay? That's what the shading means. It includes that. Number 6 looks very similar. Graph the following inequality. 4x plus 5y is greater than -20. So let's solve for y. Subtract 4x, subtract 4x. 5y greater than -4x minus 20. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. What we get is y is greater than -4/5 x minus 20 divided by 5 is 4. Because -20 divided by 5 is -4, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So -4 over 1 is -4. Again, sorry, I forgot this part. This is a dashed line because there's no equal sign, and then it says greater than, so we'll shade above it. Good. My m is -4/5, so that means down 4, right 5, or up 4, left 5, and we're going to start at -4. So from -4, I go down 4, right 5. Or I can go up 4, right, left 5. Good. We said it's a dashed line, and we're going to shade above the dashed line. I said dashed and I wrote solid. All right, don't pretend we're drawing in purple. Dashed line, ignore the solid one, it is on top of. Dashed line, and then if I don't know, I'm just going to pick the point 0, 0, okay? 0 for x, 0 for y, and I say 0 is greater than -4/5 times 0 minus 4. 0 is greater than 0 minus 4. 0 is greater than -4. Yes, right? That's true. So I should shade this half. Number 7, graph the intersection of x is greater than or equal to -8 and y is less than or equal to -5. Okay, again, feel free to use Desmos, use your graphing calculator, use the internet to figure out what x at -8 means. But basically it means every point everywhere where x is -8. So where is x -8? Right here, right here, right here. We're going to turn that into a line. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to just turn that into a line where y is 0, x is -8. Where y is 1, x is -8. Where y is -1, x is -8. I think that was -2. And it's greater than or equal to, so I'm going to make it a solid line because of the equal to. So it's a solid line, and then greater than. Think about on the x-axis. This is negative, this is positive. Which side's going to be greater than? Or, like I said, put in a point. So put in the point 0, 0. 0 is greater than or equal to -8. Is that true or false? Is 0 bigger than a -8? Yes. Okay. So that means we're going to shade that side. That side is the side that is greater. Okay. Now I'm going to take y is less than or equal to -5. So just like this was a straight up and down on x, every value of x is -8. Now we're going to find every value where y is -5. Here's x is 0, y is -5. Here's x is 10, y is -5. Here's x is -10, y is -5. Okay, those are all true for that line. It's also a solid line because it includes the equal to. And then it said is less than or equal to -5. This is positive x, this is negative, or sorry, that's positive y, that's negative y. So I think we know that below is going to be the value we want, right? Less than -5. Less than -5 is going to be -6, not -4, right? Less than -5 is going to be -10, not +10. So the intersection is only, well, okay, sorry. I should allow the green to keep going. Okay, so that's the truth for the y. What we're looking for is where the x is true and the y is true. So that box is right here. It's hemmed in by this, and it's hemmed in by this. Okay, so we're not going to count the part that's only green. We're not going to count the part that's only yellow. We're going to count the part that is both green and yellow. All right, that is your answer. That is where they intersect. All of these points will be true here and will be true here. Okay, if you want to practice or if you want to test, choose -6. Sorry, 0, -6 would be that point, right? So let's put that into both of them, and if they're both true, we've done it correctly. So 0, -6, that means x is 0, y is -6. 0 is greater than or equal to -8. Is that true? That is true. Okay, now we'll try this one. Y, -6 is less than or equal to -5. Is that true? It is true. So that point is true for both of these. That point is within our confines, so we know our confines are correct. All right, now we have the intersection of x minus y is less than 4 and x is greater than 3. All right, let's first simplify this. X minus y less than 4. Subtract x, negative y less than negative x plus 4, divide by -1. Good. All right, if I divide by a -1, I have to flip the sign. So now I have positive y is greater than x minus 4, okay? And then my other one is x is greater than 3. So here, what is my slope? My slope is 1/1. What is my y-intercept? My y-intercept is -4. So let's find -4. And then we're going to go, it's a positive 1. So up 1/1, up 1/1, up 1/1. That line is going to be a dashed line. Hopefully I draw a dashed line as I say that. Good. And we said it is greater than. So greater than is going to be up here, right? Positive y, negative y. Greater than is going to be all of this. You can also test it if you want. Test 0, 0. 0 is greater than 0 minus 4. That's true. Next one, x is greater than 3. So x is 3. That's right here. That's right here. That's right here. Good. X is greater than 3, so that's going to be a dashed because there's no equal to. There's the dashed line. And it's greater than. X is greater than 3. So we have 3. What's greater than 3? The 2 or the 4? The 4 is greater than the 3, right? So we're going to shade in this side. The part that is the intersection is going to be right here. And we can test a point, okay? I would test a point that's a good distance from both of these because it can get fraction-y confusing. So we'll test the point 10, 10, okay? So 10 minus 10 is less than 4. That means 0 is less than 4. True. 10 is less than, or sorry, is greater than 3. Also true. So that's good. Again, you can use this one down here or you can use this one up here. It doesn't matter to practice your point. All right, here is 9, 10, and 11. 9 asks us to graph the inequality y is greater than or equal to negative 5. So y is this one, right? Where's negative 5? It's right here. So everywhere that y is negative 5 is going to be on that line. It's greater than or equal to, so I'm going to make it a solid line. And then greater than means above. So above negative 5 is that. Good. You can test a point if you would like to make sure. 0. 0 is greater than negative 5. Yes. All right. Now graph this inequality. First, we need to set it equal to y. So here's x minus 4y less than 4. Subtract x, negative 4y is less than negative x plus 4. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Now we're going to flip the sign because these are negative. Okay, that's why we're flipping the sign. We have y is now less than x minus 1. Negative x, or sorry, negative x divided by negative 4 is 1/4 x minus 1 because positive 4 divided by negative 4 is a negative 1. So you can write 1/4 x as 1/4x or x over 4. Those mean the same thing. Good? Okay, so now my m is 1/4, so that's 1 up, 4 right. And my b is negative 1. So I need to start at negative 1. And I need to go up 1, 4 to the right. Good. We said it's a dashed line because it is greater than, not greater than or equal to. Here's my dashed line. And then greater than is going to be above the dashed line. Again, we can test 0, 0. 0 minus 4 times 0 is less than 4. 0 minus 0 is less than 4. Is that true? Yes. Okay, so the point 0, 0 should be included in what I shaded in. Number 11, graph the inequality x is greater than 1. So find x1. It's right here. Greater than means the line is dashed because it's not greater than or equal to. Good. And then greater than on the x is going to be over here in the direction of 10 rather than the direction of negative 10. 10 is greater than negative 10 on the x. Number 12 asks us to graph the inequality negative 2x plus y is less than or equal to 5. So here I'm going to move the 2x. Ooh, I have to add, sorry, I almost made a mistake. Plus 2x. So I have y less than or equal to 2x plus 5. Good. My m is 2 over 1. So that's up 2, right 1, or down 2, left 1. My b is 5. So start at 5. Go up 2, right 1, down 2, left 1. Good. It's y is less than or equal to, so that's going to be a solid line, and we're going to shade beneath it, less than or equal to. Shade beneath it. Test the number 0, 0, the point 0, 0, negative 2 times 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 5. 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 5. That is true. I'm picking 0, 0 because it's the easiest point, but make sure you're picking a point that if you pick 0, 0, check whether you've shaded it or not. So it's good that it matches here because I've already shaded it, right? If it doesn't match, it just means that that part should not be shaded. And you can pick any point. It doesn't have to be 0, 0. Graph the inequality. X minus 7y is less than 0. Move that x. Negative 7y, sorry, is less than negative x. Divide by negative 7. Divide by negative 7. Now I have to flip the sign because I divided by a negative. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is just 1. Negative x divided by negative 7 gives me 1, 7, x. Good. So my m is 1/7. So I go up 1, right 7. My b is 0. So I start from 0, 0. Up 1, right 7. Down 1, left 7. It's greater than, so oops, it's greater than, so it's going to be a dashed line, and I'm going to shade above it. I'm going to make this a dashed line. I'm going to shade above it. Okay, don't pick 0, 0 for this one because you're going through 0, 0, so it won't really give you any good information. Choose negative 10, negative 10, right? And it should be not, right? Negative 10 minus 7 times negative 10 is less than 0. So that's negative 10 plus, because negative 7 times negative 10 is 70, is less than 0. 60 is less than 0. That's not true. So we should not shade the part that covers negative 10, the point. Good. All right. Let's solve for y again. We have 2x minus 2y less than or equal to 8. Subtract the 2x, subtract the 2x. Negative 2y less than or equal to negative 2x plus 8. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. You can't see anything that I'm doing. Divide by negative 2. Y is less than or equal to x minus 4, right? Because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is positive 1. X divided by negative 2 is negative 4. I forgot to change that. We're dividing by negative 2, so we have to change it. Okay. My m is 1 over 1, so I'm going to go up 1, right 1. My b is -4, so start at -4. And it is this sign greater than or equal to, so it's going to be solid, and we're going to shade above it. -4, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Good. And shade above it. I'm going to test the point 0, 0. 2 times 0 minus 2 times 0 is less than or equal to 8. 0 minus 0 less than or equal to 8. 0 less than or equal to 8. That is true, so you should shade where it is, where the part that contains the point 0, 0. Graph the intersection of the solutions of the pair of linear inequalities. Don't get overwhelmed, it's okay. They're saying it different, but we're doing the same thing. So x plus y less than or equal to 5. Move that x. Now I have y is less than or equal to negative x plus 5. Good. My m is -1 over 1, so down 1, right 1. My b is 5, so I'm going to start at 5. Down 1, right 1. Gosh. Good. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And we have less than or equal to, so that's going to be a solid line. We're going to shade below it. Solid line, shade below it. Y is less than or equal to -5, so that's also going to be a solid line that we shade below. Y is -5, right here. Okay. So that one gets shaded like that. So the only point we're actually counting is it's cut off right here, and it's cut off right here. So that's what we're counting. And you can test it by just picking a point. So we'll pick the point. I'm trying to pick an easy one. Ooh, 20, -20. It's not super easy, but good. So 20 plus -20 less than or equal to 5. 0 is less than or equal to 5. Fits that one. Good. Our y is -20. -20 is less than or equal to -5. It fits that one. So we can check that answer. Graph the intersection of x is -3 greater than or equal to. So greater than or equal to is going to be a solid line, shade above it, -3. So just find -3, put a solid line, and shade above it. Okay. Our other line was x is less than or equal to 3. So that's another solid line, but less than means we shade below it. Okay. So x is 3, same thing. All values of x is 3, no matter what y is. Cover every y. But this time we're shading in this direction because it's less than. Okay. The points we want to actually highlight are just between the -3x and the 3x. So all of this. Okay, we can test 0, 0, because 0, 0 is right here. So 0 is greater than or equal to -3, yes. 0 is less than or equal to 3, yes. Good. Okay, graph the intersection of 5x minus y is greater than 2. Subtract the 5x. Negative y greater than -5x plus 2, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Y is greater than 5x minus 2. Again, we're dividing by a negative 1, so I had to flip that. My m is 5, so that means up 5, right 1. My b is negative 2, so that means I start at negative 2, go up 5, right 1. Good. We see that it is a dashed line, and we're going to shade below it. So dashed line, which is below. Here's positive y, here's negative y. So below is going to be over here. And then our other line was x is greater than 0. So where x is 0, actually, sorry. X is 0. No matter what y is, x is 0. So that can be confusing for me. What you can do is this point. This point is 0, 10, right? This point is 0, negative 10. So I've made sure that x is equal to 0, right? There's actually supposed to be a dashed line. I apologize. I'll make it yellow instead of blue. So here's our dashed line because it's x is less than 0. So less than 0 is going to be over here. And so that means the only part that is actually covered in this case is right here. Right? That's the only part that's overlapping both. X is greater than 0. Sorry, I read that wrong. I was going to say that's really small. All right. Well, you probably caught that way before I did. It's not this part. 1 second. Okay, I just pulled out the answer key just to be super clear. So here's our dashed line for the first equation that we found, dashed line. And we're shading this, right? And then the second part was another dashed line at x equals 0. And then we're shading all of this. So the part we are truly speaking of is okay. And note that when I print out my work and I print out my answer key, there is a paintbrush. So if you're wondering how to color that section, you would take that paintbrush and you click anywhere. It doesn't matter. Click anywhere in the zone that you want colored and it will color it. All right, so that is wrong. That is the correct answer. And if I hadn't caught it and I tried to put one of those in, I would have eventually, right? It would have told me. 18, match the inequality. Y is less than or equal to 3x plus 3 with its graph. So if it is less than or equal to, it's a solid line. We're in shade below it. Okay. That's not a solid line. That's a solid line. That's not a solid line. Also, make sure it's already set to y equals when you do this, right? When you start eliminating. We didn't have to change it to get y alone. Y was already alone. So it's a solid line and we should be shading below it. This one is shaded above, this one is shaded below. So it is D. I don't need to make sure if they all have the same line and are that different just in the way they are shaded or the dashed or solid line, you don't even need to figure out like if that's the correct line, right? Because we got the same line in all 4. Match the inequality with its graph. Again, it's already set equal to y. Y is greater than 2x plus 1. Greater than is going to be a dashed line. We're going to shade above it. That looks good, right? Dash line shaded below, not a dash line, not a dash line. Good. Last one. Write the inequality whose graph is given. It is moving towards negative and it's a solid line. So I'm going to say it's less than or equal to, right? X is less than or equal to, oh my gosh, so small. 7, -7. That's what I'm going to say the answer is. All right, and so that is 3.7. I hope that helped.